Think your cell phone is safe from robocallers? Think again. Big banks are pushing government regulators to allow them to send out mass robocalls, even text messages to your cell phone. We've got the details tonight with John Ulzheimer, credit expert for creditsesame.com. John, welcome to the show. Haven't these people heard about there's this thing called the USPS, the Postal Service? Why don't they just send us a letter?
Well, the reason they're doing this, Jerry, is because they understand that people are migrating away from landline telephone numbers and more so to the wireless phone. So how is the best way to collect an unpaid debt from a consumer? Send them a letter that they can shred, ignore, throw away, or actually get them on the phone and have a conversation with them. Collectors know that they're going to do a better job of being able to collect unpaid monies from you if they can actually get you on the phone rather than just send you a letter. So that I think is really the catalyst behind this movement.
And here we're talking about not just debt collectors, but Bank of America, Citibank, JP Chase, all the big banks are signed on to this. That's what they want. And of course, they all know we're ditching our landlines and they can't get a hold of us. But, you know, we talked about other ways to get a hold of us. Obviously, you can send us a letter. Do you think this is going to go anywhere? Is this going to get traction with the FCC?
I don't know. I mean, this is definitely a lightning rod topic, and there are too many other federal statutes that we haven't even thought of yet, like the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, that kind of defines how you can contact debtors that are past due on obligations. And there's a lot of things that you've got to be careful of when you're trying to reach out to a consumer's cell phone because, A, you don't know if it's the same person who owns the number that's actually answering, or B, if that number has been reassigned to a different consumer. And the minute you start talking about financial-related information with a knowingly third party, you start breaking some pretty significant rules.
Right. It's going to be hard to do. 223 million people on the do not call list. You can be too by going to donotcall.gov. It's a great thing. Although it doesn't always work, I got to tell you. So, John, another topic I want to talk to you about tonight. You can get your credit score for free these days. What's going on out there?
Wow, the momentum is definitely behind the free score movement. I mean, 15 years ago, credit scores were just products sold to banks. 10 years ago, they were products sold to consumers. And today, unless you're completely blind and ignoring what's happening, you can get a credit score from free from a variety of different sources, which is fantastic because I think more exposure to free credit-related products and services, the better we are as the consuming public, understanding how these things work and why it's important to stay on top of them.
I have to tell you, a lot of the big banks here involved again, offering these free credit scores, as you can see right there, Ally, Amex, Citi, Discover, on it goes. This is critical information for consumers to have. This determines how much you're going to pay for your house, what kind of terms you're going to get on any kind of loan. This is kind of the big kahuna of consumer information. And to think that these companies could hold this back, you know, from us who are essential to their business model is confounding, but that's all over. So that's the good news. What's your first piece of advice for people who are looking at that number for the first time? How do they analyze it?
Number one is if you're getting this information, be aware that this number has incredible influence over your financial life. This is your financial cholesterol number, if you will. It's as important in the financial services world as your cholesterol number is in the health world. This number should be above 750, which puts you kind of in the golden borrower type of category. If it's below 750, especially below 700, and oh my gosh, in the 500s, you've got big problems. So at the very least, you're going to know, directionally speaking, what type of credit risk you pose to lenders and insurance companies and utility providers who all use this number to make decisions about you.
John Ulzheimer, thank you.
You bet. Thanks for having me.